All right. Hello everyone. This is Abhijeet. I am a software engineer at Constant Contact, and yeah, I'm going to be talking about. Last year we went from we migrated from Pinot to ClickHouse in a few months, and I wanted to just share that journey, and just to give you a brief introduction about Constant Contact. So Constant Contact is an online marketing firm. It helps small and medium-sized businesses become successful by helping out its customers with a lot of marketing features like sending campaigns, sending emails, SMSs, and regularly we add a lot of new features. So that being said, I'm gonna start straight away into the background. In fall 2021, we actually launched a new feature called Automated Part Builder. What it basically does is that based on our customers' contacts, whenever they click on any emails, opens or orders, we want to trigger some workflows, and and we also want to be tracking them in real time. And as well as in 2022, we also launched our SMS, one of our products, which which had two features. One is for the bulk campaign, as well as we integrated that with the automated part builder. And for this, we also wanted to we had some advanced reporting requirements. We wanted to support OLAP style queries, and that's why we were looking for new databases. And just to give you a small glimpse of how the page looks like, this is like a campaign. This is an APB journey. There are a couple of workflows there, and on every day we send emails based on some user actions. And another one where there are some conditions here based on clicks. If a contact has clicked on a certain link, we will be sending another campaign. If it has clicked on a SMS, it will be sending some SMSs. And we also want to be showing these results, on a dashboard. So here's another one. This has a lot of conditions based from SMSs and to different clicks. We'll be showing a lot of we'll be showing different. We'll be sending different campaigns, and we'll be showing those different results. So so we actually needed. So this is something. So Constant Contact stores a lot of its data in Cassandra and MySQL, and we use that for reporting. And our Cassandra is like a 100-node cluster. It's designed for quick point lookups, and it wasn't really helpful for OLAP style queries. And our MySQL database relies heavily on pre-aggregation, and there's a lot of recalculation and resync happening, and that is the reason why that is not fit for real-time queries. So what we did was in 2021, I actually did a quick POC and with Pinot, and Apache Pinot actually fit our requirements. It had upsert, and it integrated directly with streaming Kinesis, and it supported upserts as well. And so that allowed us to, this fit our requirements directly. It supported OLAP style queries, and it was excellent for quick data fixes too. We were going live fast, and there would be some errors. So which is why Pinot was perfect. And things were actually quite well for the first 6 months. And just to give you a small timeline, we could see the initial phases, Pinot gave a great performance. But when we went into 2023 and when the data increased, suddenly I had to increase the Pinot heap size to do a lot of config changes, and it went down a couple of times. And you can see those two peaks here around 2023. That is when I had to restore a new table, and the table wasn't being restored, so I had to restore some table a month before, and I had to do a backfill, and I had to do it twice in a row. That's why those two peaks are there. But then later on, there were Pinot still had issues, so I had to do rolling restarts. And eventually in 2024, we just realized that okay, we got to try out and move to a different database. And we looked at ClickHouse, and it fit our requirements. So I'll just share. What were the technical limitations which Pinot was having? So Pinot's upsert really didn't support compaction at that time. So they recently have released it in their 1.0, but it's not really that great. So because it did not support compaction, we had on every single day we had one columnar segment, and the total segment size was around 180 GB, and this forced us to add memory as the data grew. And because we were using Kinesis and it tied heavily to Kinesis, every segment was wired to Kinesis shard, and that's why we couldn't repartition it, because now in order to repartition we had to backfill it right from scratch, and Pinot didn't really support any tool for bulk import. And this would have taken like multiple weeks of streaming. And yeah, time was running out. So yeah, so ClickHouse to the rescue. And this, what we did was, I mean, this is another POC. I did it in 3 months. So ClickHouse had an incredible setup operator with alternating. And I think that, just a few lines of code, we were able to set it up within like just 15, 20 minutes. And what was powerful with ClickHouse was that ClickHouse has a great, bulk insert query, which allowed us to load the entire Pinot data within almost 3 hours. So as opposed to 5, 2-3 weeks with a new Pinot table, it was all loaded in almost 3 hours. And it also has a replacing merge tree, which is almost compatible with Pinot Observer. It's not real time, but it's, it still worked for us. And all these data types were comparable. In fact, ClickHouse has a lot more advanced data types. Pinot is just catching up. There are some issues too, like Pinot supported null strings. They didn't really support nulls. So ClickHouse is better. And it's benchmark. That was extremely powerful. This helped me, me finalize that, okay, this is gonna satisfy our requirement. And all our performance will be, measured quite well. And the customers will be, will get results fast. And its Java API also, it wasn't one-to-one fully, but I kind of made it one-to-one with reflection API. So it was very easy for me to migrate. And yeah, now in this 3 journey, I wanted to like give a special mention to the ClickHouse support team. They actually helped us out, and in 3 months, we were able to get it running. And in fact, Pinot also was a 3-month journey, but even this was even a bigger and more special because we already had some issues. So, so I wanted to just show you like a performance comparison. So with Pinot, I had almost 4 servers and 3 brokers, but ClickHouse just 1 node and 1 thread, and you could see the massive difference. So that's the beauty of compaction and ordering that Pinot gives by default. And and yeah, towards the end, you could see the Pinot performance is a bit stable, but that's because there are 4 servers, whereas in ClickHouse there was only 1 node. So that's why it's coming. That's why otherwise the graph would be even more flatter. So yeah. So yeah, this way, to be honest with you, when it came up, I wanted to understand like why exactly ClickHouse worked. I mean, the curious engineer in me, there were not many events to be frank. Pinot, we only had roughly 500 million events. It went down with that. So this is where I actually read a couple of white papers to understand like how does it work. So Pinot used mmap, and it's basically memory map files. And mmap is a very it's almost like a tempting solution if you want to build it, because it abstracts out or makes it transparent for any developer. It makes it transparent, a file system with RAM memory, and so it's very tempting. We don't have to worry about loading it into memory. mmap does the magic for us. And but the problem with this is that that this is all based on page faults. Whenever there is a page fault in the system, that's when it will load it, and that prevented Pinot from having CPU caching or prefetching. And the worst part, this is where Pinot performance was horrible, was because of the TLB shutdown. So what happens is whenever the transaction look-aside buffer is full because the memory is lesser, all the cores in the node, they will be shut down, and and will be restarted. And that's the reason why this is called TLB shutdown, which is the reason why the entire Pinot node would go down. And there's excellent white paper, and I put a link here. Whether are you sure you want to use mmap, and it gives in detail as to why mmap was a wrong solution. So now ClickHouse, on the other hand, use p-reads or position reads, so that allows us to read a file from any position, and regardless of moving the file pointer. And this outperform mmap in all cases. So I found a thesis as well which talks about this thing, and there are some. They don't give the reasons why the why period outperforms, but that's the reason you will find in some other online sources, where the CPU prefetches and caches allows ClickHouse to be way more faster in all performances, whether it's sequential reads or random reads. And columnar storage, like Pinot uses a custom columnar format, whereas ClickHouse on the other hand uses log structured merge tree, and it's by default supports it. like everything is stored in sorted string tables, and automatically it will be merged, because not automatically, but that's the protocol. Whereas ClickHouse Pinot, on the other hand, needed a custom merging or a compaction format, because it's a custom columnar segment format, and which got released in 1.0, but even that had some bugs, so it's still maturing. And yeah, like the Pinot's other issue is Java, and I like Java, but it takes a lot of heap. And so because Pinot relies on off-heap RAM, the fact that 16 GB is taken up by, there's a typo, 16 GB heap memory. It's not 16 MB, it's 16 GB heap memory. So that means only the remaining is used for off-heap RAM, whereas C++, ClickHouse, it just is 2 GBs. So I got the entire, almost the entire node for file system. And Pinot's, it's very component heavy. Like there are brokers, there are servers, there are minions, there are controllers. And yeah, I mean, towards the end, we were paying like $12,700 a month. Whereas when we went to ClickHouse, it was almost $1,500 a month. That too, we are over-provisioned right now. Because with Pinot we had some problems, so we wanted to ensure let's go over provision now and then change it. But yeah, the performance is almost 10 times. So this is the the comparison, and yeah. So these are the 3 lessons that I learned. And first is like this is something which my database professor had told us. So I just wrote that line. This was back 15 years ago. It's still relevant. Like know thy data. That is small decisions, like what is whether to put an int type, which int type, like int 8 versus int 16 versus int 32. These things are very vital. And enums versus strings versus boolean, all those things, as well as cardinality, is all worth the effort. Because what I realized is that literally 25% of the compression comes for free. Maybe even more, but I gave 25% to be conservative. But it is purely based on strong schema design. We don't need any other extra compression in place, because I personally had some questions. Okay, which algorithm should I use, which, and all of that. Whereas if your data design is perfect, then compression also is very good. And yeah, I felt because I'm using a replacing merge tree, I think both order by and primary key is very important, and I did not use that. And which is why a new table is needed. And yeah, this is the key thing which I found for both Pinot and ClickHouse. Having automated backups are vital. And this was extremely, I had, because Pinot didn't really have a custom backup algorithm, I had written like a small script to backup Zookeeper. And whenever it went down, it was very easy to bring it back up within half an hour with the Zookeeper backup. And with ClickHouse, we also have written backups, as well as we are testing backups regularly to ensure that if it goes down. So that was key for any of the development. And yeah, mistakes. To be honest, when we have to go live in 3 months, they're going to happen. So schema changes are going to keep happening. So it's very important to select mature databases. Like we went with Pinot, which was just 0.6 at the time, and then 1.0. So so that was one issue. Whereas ClickHouse, because it's not mature, it doesn't really support backfill yet. So that was one issue. So yeah. So yeah, I'll let you demo now. So yeah. So this is an internal tool. I'll just go back to the initial slides I'd shown. So yeah, these are like customer-facing UI pages. So I cannot show this one, but there's an internal tool which can help us monitor. This is like almost like a cockpit. It will help us monitor all the workflows and all the data in ClickHouse. And first of all, I'll just mention that my primary key or ordering key, it has account ID, whereas this is across accounts. But still, it's pretty fast. I can just load the page again, you see. And the reason why it is so fast, is because I'm actually querying the latest parts. So I'm figuring out which are the latest parts by querying system table. So that helps in getting the getting the results fast. And yeah. So I'm going to show the 3 examples I had shown earlier. Just to yes, the refresher, I'll just share this page again. So you could see there are 5 steps here, 5 emails to show how it looks like. Yeah. So what this does is like this workflow can help us, will help, it calls ClickHouse under the hood, and you can see the one of the examples of of a group by query where every state of the workflow has different numbers, and yeah, and plus there are different states too, like sleep states, and every there is a gRPC call to send emails, so that also is visible here. So every step of the page can report metrics, and that's the first one. The second one, yeah, I'll try to search the other account later on, but I'll look at there's another account. Yeah, so this also shows, one of the pages also was also showing a condition tree where every condition also was tracked, like this one. So this is the one I'm showing. Second one, I think it is backdated, but even this one has, this is also good enough. So this also shows a similar view where every single step, status, and all of this is coming from ClickHouse in one query, and all of the decisions like which of them are, which of them support a yes condition versus no. All of these queries are coming from ClickHouse, and yeah, and it also shows based on what condition is satisfied, what next step was executed, and that also comes from the entire view comes from one ClickHouse query. So yeah, let me try one more time. I'll try to see if I can find that other account. Otherwise, I will end the. Yeah, that was the demo. Any questions? Yeah. Sure.
So in your journey to ClickHouse over 3 months,
yeah.
What areas did you spend the most time and effort?
What areas I must own? Yeah. Actually, it was in the QA testing. That because it was, parity testing was important. So that took a lot of time. Yeah. In fact, it took me a lot of time to actually say, yes, this is done now. Because I don't want to like roll back immediately. So yeah, that was the main time. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you.